He's the anchor in their chaotic world. The voice of reason. The man with the checkbook. We see him on our screens. Mike Silva, the patriarch of the Silva family, a bastion of quiet dignity amidst the whirlwind of tears, breakups, and international romance disasters that define the lives of his twin daughters, Darcey and Stacey. He listens patiently. He offers calm, measured advice. And he always seems to be there to pick up the financial pieces when their latest romantic venture crashes and burns. But what if the quiet support is a performance? What if the calm demeanor is a mask for a shrewd, calculating mind? What if he's not just supporting the family? What if he's running it like a business where his daughter's tears are the primary product? If you're ready to look past the carefully constructed reality and dive deep into one of the most compelling and sinister theories in the entire Fiancé universe, then you've come to the right place. Welcome to the Tell-All Tapes. Before we pull back the curtain, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and give this video a like so we can continue to expose the stories that happen when the cameras stop rolling. You won't want to miss a single revelation we uncover. Now let's begin. To understand the theory of Mike Silva as the puppet master, we first have to fully appreciate the character he plays on television. It is a masterpiece of subtlety. He is the quintessential long-suffering father. When Darcey brought Jessie Meester into their lives, a man half her age with an ego the size of his native Amsterdam, who was there to witness the arguments with a look of stoic disapproval. Mike Silva, he never raised his voice. He simply observed, his silence speaking volumes. He watched the infamous cut it on the bias steak dinner debacle, the shoe-throwing incident, the constant psychological warfare, and through it all, he was the stable ground beneath Darcey's feet. When she cried, he offered a shoulder. When she was humiliated, he offered a safe harbor. He was the dad every viewer wished Darcey had listened to, the one who could see the red flags from a mile away. Then came Tom Brooks, the debonair Brit, who wooed Darcey with the illusion of high society London life, only to insult her, wait and condescendingly offer her a key to his house that wasn't even his. And who was there in the background? Mike, listening to the tearful phone calls, watching his daughter get played once again. His advice was always the same, delivered in that calm, almost monotone voice. You need to be strong, Darcey. Focus on yourself. He's not the one for you. On the surface, it's exactly what a loving father would say. It's what the audience is screaming at their televisions. Mike Silva becomes our surrogate. The voice of our own frustrations with Darcey's choices. He validates our opinions, and in doing so, he earns our trust. He is positioned deliberately as the moral and logical center of the Silva family's chaotic universe. The same pattern holds true for Stacey. When Florian Sukai's cheating scandal erupted, with incriminating photos and videos surfacing online, who did a distraught Stacey turn to her father. Mike sat with her, listened to her fears, and gave his seemingly sage counsel. He questioned Florian's intentions, not with aggression, but with the quiet, probing questions of a concerned father. He was a protector, a guardian of his daughter's well-being. And when the twins decided to uproot their lives and move into their own apartment to start a new chapter, who was there to facilitate it? Mike. When they needed capital to once again relaunch their fashion brand. House of, who wrote the check? Mike. He is the provider, the enabler, the safety net. The show's narrative paints him as a man of immense patience and even greater wealth. A father whose love for his daughters is so unconditional that he will endlessly fund their dreams and clean up their messes no matter how self-inflicted they may be. And for years that is the story we have all accepted. It's a simple, comforting narrative. But today we are going to burn that narrative to the ground. Because the theory we're exploring suggests that every piece of advice, every comforting word, every signed check is not an act of fatherly love, but a calculated business decision from the real CEO of the Darcey and Stacey media empire. To unravel this, we must do what detectives have always done. We have to follow the money. Mike Silva is not just a dad. He is, by all public accounts and background information, a highly successful and shrewd international businessman. While the specifics of his career are kept intentionally vague on the show, it's been widely reported that he has spent a significant portion of his professional life involved in business dealings in China. Think about the kind of acumen that it requires. Navigating complex international trade regulations, managing supply chains across continents, negotiating multi-million-dollar deals with foreign entities. This is not the resume of a man who casually throws money away on frivolous passion projects. This is the profile of a strategic investor, a man who understands leverage, assets, liabilities, and most importantly, return on investment. So, let's apply that lens to his relationship with his daughter's careers. The primary vehicle for their off-camera ventures has always been House of. The fashion brand, founded in honor of their late brother, has been a central plot point for years. It has been launched, relaunched, pivoted, and rebooted more times than a faulty laptop. We've seen them struggle with designs, plan photo shoots, and travel to Miami and Los Angeles to make connections. The show frames these as the earnest efforts of two aspiring fashion mogul. But let's be brutally honest. From a purely business perspective, has House of ever demonstrated itself to be a self-sustaining, profitable entity? The evidence, or lack thereof, suggests otherwise. Fashion is a notoriously brutal and cash-intensive industry. 2. Compete, you need massive marketing budgets, consistent product pipelines, and a strong, unique brand identity. House of seems to exist primarily on social media and a website that gets a surge of interest every time a new season of their show airs. A normal investor would have pulled the plug years ago. A typical father might say, "But girls, I love you, but this isn't working. It's time to try something else." But Mike Silva is neither a normal investor nor, according to this theory, a typical father in this context. He keeps funding it. He keeps writing the checks. Why? Because the theory posits that Mike understood something profound long before anyone else did. House of S's primary product isn't clothes. Its primary product is storyline. Its value isn't measured in units sold. It's measured in minutes of television air time. Every failed fashion show, every botched photo shoot, every argument over a design is a scene for the show. Every business trip to a glamorous location. And as a taxpayer subsidized via his business of course setting for more romantic drama. The brand's failures are, in fact, its greatest successes because they generate the very content that TLC pays them for. Think of it this way. Mike invests, let's say, $1 into a new house of clothing line. The line doesn't sell well and from a retail perspective, it's a loss. But the process of creating that line, the arguments, the stress, Darcey crying over a fabric swatch, Stacey fighting with Florian because he's not being supportive enough provides enough content for 3 or 4 episodes of Darcey and Stacey. The salary the twins, and as we'll soon discuss, Mike himself collect from the network for those episodes far exceeds the initial dollar investment. It's not a fashion business. It's a content generation machine. And Mike Silva is the one who owns the factory and supplies the raw materials. He's not losing money. He's laundering it through a legitimate-looking business and getting a massive return in the form of television contracts. He's not a benefactor. He's an angel investor in the most lucrative business of all, his own family's televised misery. This leads us to the second and perhaps most explosive pillar of this theory. The allegation that Mike Silva is not just a passive financial backer, but an active hands-on producer of the show. It's a common, almost token practice in reality television for key family members to be given producer credits. It's often a vanity title, a way to make them feel included and to sweeten their contract. But our inside source, a person who worked on the production of the show for multiple seasons and has requested anonymity for obvious career-related reasons, alleges that in Mike Silva's case, the title is anything but ceremonial. According to this source, Mike Silva is an executive producer in the truest sense of the word. He allegedly participates in pre-production conference calls with the network and the production company. He has, our source claims, direct input on the show's seasonal story arcs. Let that sink in for a moment. The very narrative of his daughters' lives, the romantic highs and more frequently, the devastating lows are stories that he has a hand in crafting. He's not just a character reacting to events. He is one of the architects of those events. Our source described a specific incident that is deeply chilling, if true. During a planning call for an upcoming season, a producer was pitching a storyline where Darcey would focus on therapy, self-love, and take a genuine break from dating to heal. It was meant to be an empowering, positive arc. According to our source, the call went quiet for a moment before Mike's calm, familiar voice cut through the silence. He allegedly said, and I'm quoting the source directly here, "Let's be realistic. A happy Darcey doesn't pay the bills. A happy Darcey doesn't pay the bills." If this statement was indeed made, it is the Rosetta Stone of the entire Silva family dynamic. It is the mission statement of their media empire. It reframes everything we have ever seen. It means that the constant carousel of questionable foreign men, the predictable pattern of love bombing followed by emotional collapse, the public humiliations, and the endless rivers of tears are not unfortunate byproducts of his daughter's poor choices. They are the business model. They are the key performance indicators of success. In this model, his daughter's emotional stability is a liability. Their heartbreak is an asset. Their quest for love is just the packaging for the real product being sold. Raw female pain. With this new understanding, let's re-examine Mike's role. Why are the men Darcey and Stacey choose always so perfectly wrong for them? Jesse with his aggressive narcissism and condescending lectures. Tom with his passive-aggressive snobbery and emotional unavailability. Georgi Rusev with his mysterious past. His divorce that wasn't finalized, and his sock full of cash secret. Florian with his cheating scandals and his seeming indifference. Is it simply that the twins have a type? Or is it that these men are selected either consciously or unconsciously because they are guaranteed to generate conflict? The executive producer theory suggests that Mike, with his business acumen, understands this perfectly. He may not be casting these men directly, but he is allegedly involved in the conversations. He knows that a stable, kind, emotionally mature partner for Darcey or Stacey would be the death of the show. It would be a happy ending, and happy endings don't get renewed for another season. So when his daughters bring home yet another walking red flag, his on-screen persona of the concerned father is just that, a persona. Behind the scenes, the businessman is rubbing his hands together, seeing the potential for another episodes of prime-time drama. He's not watching a potential son-in-law. He's evaluating a new cast member's potential for generating conflict and ratings. Will this one make her cry? Will this one have a secret? Will this one be willing to engage in a screaming match on camera? These are not the questions of a father. These are the questions of a producer. Think about the power dynamic this creates. The production team, who are ostensibly in charge of creating the show, are now in a position where they have to answer to the father of their main talent. A father who not only controls the talent's finances, but also allegedly has a direct line to the network. How could a producer or a story editor possibly push for a narrative that Mike Silva disapproves of? He holds all the cards. He can influence his daughters. He can influence the money. And he can allegedly influence the creative direction. He is the sun around which the entire Darcey and Stacey production universe orbits. This brings us to the twist, the mechanism of control that makes this all possible. It's what we call the golden handcuffs. The theory suggests that the twins' lavish lifestyle, the very foundation of their on-screen world, is an elaborate and terrifyingly effective prison built by their own father. The beautiful, spacious apartments they live in, the luxury cars they drive, the designer clothes and handbags they showcase. The theory alleges that Darcey and Stacey's names are on none of it. Not a single deed, not a single title. Our sources who have insight into the family's financial structure suggest that these assets are owned by a series of holding companies and family trusts, all controlled by one man, Mike Silva. This is an absolutely brilliant and ruthless business tactic. On the surface, he is providing for his daughters, giving them a lifestyle they could not otherwise afford. But what he is actually doing is creating a system of total and absolute dependence. They have the illusion of wealth, but they have zero actual equity. They are living in a gilded cage. Consider the implications of this. If Darcey were to wake up one morning and say, "I can't do this anymore," the public scrutiny, the emotional turmoil, the constant drama. "I'm done. I'm quitting the show, and I'm going to get a normal job." What would actually happen? She couldn't just walk away. The apartment she lives in could be taken away with a single phone call from her father's attorney. The car she drives could be repossessed. The credit card she uses could be cancelled. Her entire financial existence, the very roof over her head, and her children's heads is contingent upon her continued participation in the family business. And the family business is selling her life as entertainment. This is the golden handcuff. It's a form of control so complete and so insidious that it removes the very possibility of rebellion. They can't walk away. They can't say no. They have traded their autonomy for comfort, their freedom for fame. They are in essence employees of their father. Their job is to perform the role of Darcey and Stacey, the messy, love-addicted twins. Their compensation is the lifestyle he provides. And their boss is their own dad, who can fire them at any moment, not just from a job, but from their entire life as they know it. This financial leverage is the key that unlocks everything. It explains why season after season, they continue to engage in the same self-destructive patterns. It explains why they allow cameras to capture their most vulnerable, humiliating moments. They are not just willing participants. They are financially coerced participants. They are trapped by a lifestyle they have become accustomed to. A lifestyle that can be snatched away the moment they stop delivering the product their father and the network demand. Now with this terrifying framework in mind, let's go back and reinterpret Mike Silva's advice. Let's watch those calm fatherly scenes again, but with a new filter when he sits down with the twins after a major fight with their partners and says, in that steady voice, "You two need to work it out." Is he giving them relationship advice, or is he a director giving his actors a note? Work it out may not mean find a way to communicate and heal your romantic bond. It could mean you have 3 more weeks of filming scheduled with this person. Your contract requires you to deliver a complete story arc. Get back in there, have the confrontation, film the dramatic makeup scene, and fulfill your contractual obligations. Work it out. He's not talking about their relationship. He's talking about the production schedule. When he expresses disappointment in a man like Jesse or Georgi, is it genuine paternal concern, or is it the calculated disapproval of a producer who is setting up the dad disapproves storyline? A classic and highly effective reality TV trope. He knows that his disapproval will create tension. It will force his daughters to choose between their father and their lover. A conflict that is pure ratings gold. His quiet, pained expressions are not just a father's sorrow. They are a performance for the cameras designed to heighten the drama and solidify his role as the sympathetic anchor for the audience. Every piece of advice becomes a business directive. You need to be strong. Darcey could translate to the audience is starting to see you as a victim. We need a strong woman arc for the back half of the season. Toughen up for the cameras. When he questions Florian about his commitment to Stacey, it might not be about protecting his daughter's heart. It might be about creating a scene filled with suspense and conflict, ensuring the cheating scandal storyline has enough legs to last an entire season. He is not mediating family disputes. He is orchestrating narrative beats. He is the showrunner of their lives. This theory paints a picture of a man who is a master of emotional and financial manipulation operating under the perfect cover of a loving, supportive father. He has constructed a world where his daughters are the stars, but he owns the studio, the sets, the costumes, and their contracts. They live in a fishbowl that he built, and he profits from every crack that appears in the glass. He has successfully monetized his own children's suffering, and he has done it so skillfully that he has convinced millions of viewers and perhaps even the twins themselves that he is their greatest protector. It's a chilling Cavalian-long game played out over a decade of reality television. He has insulated himself from all criticism by playing the part of the one sane person in the room while allegedly being the very architect of the insanity. We need to consider the psychological toll this must take on Darcey and Stacey to live in a state of constant performance where your most intimate moments are scripted and your deepest pains are a source of income for your family. To know on some level that the man who is supposed to protect you is the one who benefits most from your distress. It creates a feedback loop of trauma. The show causes pain. The pain creates drama. The drama creates ratings. The ratings create profit. And the profit is used to maintain the lifestyle that keeps them trapped on the show. They are running on a hamster wheel inside a gilded cage, and their father is the one who keeps dropping the food pellets of financial support, ensuring they never stop running. Think about their relationships not just with men but with each other. The twin dynamic is central to the brand. The twin tuition, the arguments, the moments of intense loyalty. How much of that is also influenced by this dynamic when they fight? Is it a genuine sibling squabble, or is it a conflict encouraged by the need to create a compelling storyline for an episode? Their bond itself becomes another asset to be leveraged for the show. The entire emotional landscape of their lives is a resource to be mined for content. This theory suggests that Mike Silva saw the potential in reality television long ago. He saw a new kind of family business, one far more lucrative and stable than fashion. He realized that in the SD century, you don't need to sell a product. You need to sell a story. You need to sell a personality. You need to sell a lifestyle. And he had in his twin daughters the perfect stars. Beautiful, vulnerable, and endlessly watchable in their chaotic pursuit of love. He provided the initial investment, and he has been reaping the dividends ever since. The public may see Darcey and Stacey as the faces of the brand, but Mike Silva is the chairman of the board, the majority shareholder, and the man who truly holds all the power. The control he wields is not the loud, aggressive control of a domineering parent. It is the quiet, invisible control of a master puppeteer who never lets the audience see the strings. He has perfected the art of profiting from their pain while looking like the one person trying to heal it. And that might be the most brilliant and terrifying part of it all. Let's consider the broader ecosystem that Mike Silva has allegedly cultivated. If this theory holds true, his influence wouldn't stop with just Darcey and Stacey. Every person who enters their orbit becomes, in effect, a supporting cast member in his production. The men they date are not just potential partners. They are unpaid or underpaid actors who are cast for their potential to create drama. Think about the vetting process. Do we really believe that Darcey and Stacey, after years of repeated trauma, are incapable of picking a decent partner? Or is it more likely that the pool of men they are exposed to or who are willing to Date them on camera is pre-selected for these exact dramatic qualities? A quiet, stable accountant from Connecticut isn't getting a call back for a date with Darcey Silva, but a struggling model from Albania with a wandering eye. A Dutch personal trainer with a penchant for psychological manipulation. A Bulgarian masseuse with a mysterious financial situation. They are casting gold. Mike, as the silent producer, would understand this calculus better than anyone. He isn't judging these men as sons-in-law. He's judging them by their Q score, their potential for conflict, and their willingness to play the game on camera. His disapproval, expressed so calmly on screen, serves a dual purpose. It solidifies his character as the protective father for the audience, and it simultaneously throws fuel on the fire of the relationship itself, creating a classic us against the world. Or more accurately, us against my father dynamic that is incredibly compelling to watch. He creates the problem and then positions himself as the only solution. The safe harbor his daughters must return to after the inevitable shipwreck he helped engineer. It's a masterful manipulation of both his family and the viewing public. And what about the next generation? Darcey's daughters, Aniko and Aspen. They have grown up in this reality TV crucible. They have watched their mother's most painful moments be broadcast to the world. On the show, they are portrayed as the mature, grounded voices of reason, often acting as the parent to their own mother. They offer advice that is wise beyond their years, and they seem remarkably well adjusted, all things considered. But within the framework of our theory, their role becomes much more complex and, frankly, more tragic. Are Ano and Aspen simply bystanders, or are they the next generation of Silva assets? They are learning from a very young age that family life is a performance. They are learning that emotions are a commodity. They have seen firsthand how their mother's heartbreak translates into a new season, a bigger apartment, a more luxurious life. They are being raised within the business model. The theory suggests that Mike Silva is not just their grandfather. He is their mentor. Whether they realize it or not, he is showing them the family trade. Look at how they are integrated into the show. Aniko's pageants, Aspen's college plans. These are no longer private family milestones. They are plot points. They are storylines used to fill out an episode. Their teenage lives are being mined for content just like their mothers. The concern is that they are being groomed. They are intelligent, beautiful, and articulate. They are in many ways more camera-ready than their mother was at their age. Are we witnessing the slow, methodical development of the next stars of the Silva media empire? Will there one day be a show called Aniko and Aspen? It's a chilling thought. They may be the only ones who see the strings on the puppets, but they are also in a position where speaking out would mean dismantling their entire world, a world provided for and controlled by their grandfather. Their silence and on-screen maturity might not be a sign of resilience, but a sign of their understanding of the rules of the game. They know what is expected of them, and they play their parts perfectly. Let's also re-examine the infamous plastic surgery trip to Turkey. On the surface, it was a twin journey of transformation, a way for them to reclaim their bodies and their confidence after so much heartache. It was branded as an act of self-love. But let's look at it through the cold lens of a producer. A trip to Turkey for head total plastic surgery is an enormous production expense. We're talking international flights, hotel accommodations for cast and crew, hospital fees, surgeon fees, and the logistics of filming in a foreign country. This was not a spontaneous decision. This was a pre-planned, multi-episode story arc, green-lit, and likely funded as a cornerstone of a season. Mike Silva, the shrewd businessman, would have had to sign off on this, and he would not have seen it as a medical expense. He would have seen it as an investment in his assets. He was investing in a storyline that was guaranteed to be visually shocking, controversial, and highly promotable. The Barbie doll look, the painful recovery, the dramatic reveal, it was a reality TV producer's dream. It generated headlines, social media buzz, and endless debate among viewers. The return on that investment in terms of ratings and media attention was likely colossal. His daughters' physical bodies were treated as just another part of the set, to be altered and improved for the benefit of the show. When he saw them for the first time after their procedures, he expressed shock and a bit of fatherly concern. Was it genuine, or was it the director watching the dailies and realizing he had a scene that would go viral? His reaction was part of the script, the final beat in the shocking transformation storyline that he had in all likelihood approved from the very beginning. This level of control, this merging of family and business, creates a reality so distorted that it's hard to tell where the real person ends and the character begins. This is perhaps the ultimate tragedy of the Silva twins. After more than a decade of living their lives on camera, under the alleged direction of their father, they may no longer be able to distinguish between an authentic emotion and a performative one. Is Darcey's crying a genuine expression of sadness? Or is it a conditioned response, a muscle memory of what she is supposed to do when the cameras are on her and the storyline calls for a moment of vulnerability? When they search for love, are they truly seeking a partner? Or are they seeking a co-star who can help them fulfill their contractual obligations for the next season? Their entire identity has been subsumed by the brand. They are Darcey and Stacey, a two-headed entity that exists to experience and broadcast drama. They have been handsomely rewarded for this performance, but the cost has been their own authenticity. They are living in a story that someone else is writing. A story designed to keep them perpetually unhappy, perpetually searching, and perpetually dependent. Because, as the alleged quote from our source so chillingly reminds us, a happy Darcey doesn't pay the bills. Happiness is the end of the story. It is the end of the business. And Mike Silva is far too shrewd a businessman to ever let his most profitable venture come to an end. Now, it's crucial to acknowledge the counter-narrative, the story that TLC and the family themselves present to us. It's the story of a wealthy doing father, who perhaps unwisely spoils his daughters. A man who loves them so much that he can't say no, who endlessly funds their dreams because he wants to see them happy. In this version, he is a passive figure, a benevolent ATM who is perhaps a bit naive to the ways of the world and his daughter's poor choices. He's a victim of his own generosity. This is a simple, easy-to-digest story, but it falls apart under scrutiny. It doesn't account for his reported business background. Shrewd international businessmen are not typically naive pushovers. It doesn't account for the sheer longevity and escalating drama of the show. Most families would have pulled the plug after the first public humiliation, not signed on for more. It doesn't account for the convenient, almost scripted nature of their romantic disasters, each one seemingly custom-made to provide maximum television conflict. The loving, naive father narrative requires us to believe that Mike Silva is the unluckiest father in the world whose daughters just happened to stumble into reality TV gold mines of dysfunction season after season by pure chance. The puppet master theory, however, requires us to believe only one thing, that a successful businessman is acting like a successful businessman, maximizing his assets, and pursuing the greatest possible return on his investment. When you look at it that way, everything clicks into place. The chaos is not accidental. It is manufactured. The tears are not just tears. They are liquid assets. This brings us to the reckoning. The unavoidable conclusion of this theory is that the Silva twins are not in control of their own lives. They may think they are making their own choices, choosing to date a certain man, choosing to get surgery, choosing to launch a new clothing line. But their choices are made within a carefully constructed maze, where every path leads back to the same outcome. More content for the show, more profit for the family business, and more power for the man at the center of it all. They are willing participants, yes, but they are participants in a gilded cage that was built around them so slowly, and so lovingly that they may not even recognize that they are trapped. They have traded authentic happiness for a life of fame and fortune, with their own father acting as the ultimate gatekeeper and primary beneficiary of their sacrifice. He has built an empire on their backs, and he has done it with a gentle smile and the calm, reassuring voice of a father who knows best. He is the anchor in their chaotic world because he is the one creating the storm. He is the voice of reason because he profits from their irrationality. He is the man with the checkbook because the checkbook is the chain that keeps them bound to him and to the show. He is the quiet, supportive patriarch, and he is, according to this theory, the most ruthless and effective puppet master in the history of reality television. The misery is the product, the show is the distribution channel, and he is the CEO who oversees it all, ensuring that the production line of pain and drama never, ever stops. So, we are left with a profoundly disturbing question that cuts to the very heart of the Silva family's public legacy. It's a question that forces us to reevaluate every scene, every tear, and every word of fatherly advice we've ever witnessed. Is Mike Silva a loving father providing for his kids, a man whose only fault is an excess of generosity? Or is he a ruthless businessman who has found the ultimate market inefficiency, the exploitation of his own daughters' personal lives for profit? Is he their greatest supporter or their ultimate explorer? This might be the darkest theory in the Day universe yet, because it suggests the monster isn't the foreign fiancé with the shady past. It's the quiet man in the background, the one everyone trusted, the one who was hiding in plain sight all along. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. The truth is out there, and together we can piece it together.